Cage Season 2 is now streaming on Netflix. I have just binged the series in one day. I don't know how that was possible, but I am back to reviewing this series as I did with many of the other Netflix Marvel shows, and just like with all of those, this review will have spoilers. So binge watch Luke Cage before you watch my review and then come back so we can talk about it. Luke Cage has been exonerated of his crimes, he is now free, and he is basically the people's champ. Everyone in Harlem loves him, but Black Mariah Dillard is still in power. She holds control over everything. And also a new foe comes into town named Bushmaster. He wants to take control, he wants the crown Mariah Dillard has, and he wants the heart that Luke Cage holds of the people. Now, I really like the first season of Luke Cage, the first half more than the second half, but I am one of the people who really likes the second half still. I have liked every single Marvel Netflix show so far, even Iron Fist. I know that I'm in the minority and I can understand every single issue that people have with that series, and I have those issues as well, but I still like the show. Luke Cage Season 2, however, felt like a chore to get through. Me and many other people complain that in these Marvel Netflix shows, right around episode 10, it starts to drag a little, just because they need to get those 3 episodes out and they cannot make it any shorter. Luke Cage Season 2, however, drags from the very beginning. It takes a long while for Luke Cage even to meet Bushmaster for the first time. Everyone is doing their own thing, and it takes a while for all of those elements of the story to converge. Black Mariah Dillard is still the worst written character ever and the most uninteresting one. And Alfre Woodard is overacting so damn much. If you saw the first season, you saw her overacting. In here, she takes it up to a T. This character is the most bland, uninteresting, boring, uneventful, stupid character there could possibly be. And Shades is just a puppy dog for her for most of the season. I like that earlier in the season we dealt with Luke and Claire's relationship. I like that they have a falling out. That gives the character stakes. Bushmaster has a very compelling reason and motivation to be here and to be doing, to want Harlem, to want to kill Mariah Dillard. Once you understand his story, he's probably the most compelling character in this show, even more than Luke Cage sometimes. And I love seeing that Luke is now adored by the people and he feels this pressure to live up to the name that people see in him. And thematically, the show had great ideas. It had the idea of legacy. It discusses how the legacy left by those before us can come back and bite us in the ass. It discusses how the legacy we leave behind can doom the ones that come after us, and it discusses how we can build our own unique legacy despite the setbacks set by those who came before us, and how we are masters of the own legacy we leave behind ourselves. So all these characters have something going on. All these characters have something in their story, in their character arcs, that could be very interesting, but the show never takes advantage of that. It drags and drags and drags. It is plotting as hell to get to somewhere with any of these characters. And Bushmaster, in his final episode, he goes to try and kill Mariah Dillard. He fails. He runs away, thankfully, so he's alive, so there's hope for a 3rd season, but he just never shows up again. We never get to see how he's recuperating mentally from that, from the fact that Luke Cage, after being friends with him for a while and being partners, let's say, he still went back to defend Mariah Dillard. And Mariah Dillard's daughter, Tilda, became finally an interesting character once she kissed her mother in her cell. When that happened, I became the happiest person on earth because I knew Mariah Dillard was going to die. And she did. They killed her. I was so happy we finally got rid of the worst possible character in any of these shows, so things can only go up from there. Ironically enough, Luke Cage's most interesting episodes in this season is when Iron Fist comes in. And he doesn't stick around for long. It's not like he is in 2 full episodes. He is in 2 episodes, but they have little chunks, little scenes of both of them here and there. And those are pretty damn cool scenes. The relationship between them two is really great. And Danny Rand, not only does he come in to help Luke Cage, but he helps Misty Knight, who is a badass in this season, and Simone Missick continues to kill it every time she's on screen. She's going through this thing where she also has to deal with the legacy she has in the police force and the legacy that her partner Rafe Scarf from the last season also left. She has this dirt sheet on her resume and she basically has to rise higher than that, and she does eventually in this season. And at times it even felt like this season was as much about her as it was about Luke. And come the end of the season, we see that they're both going on very divergent paths, with Missick suspecting Luke is going down a very dark road, and Luke inheriting the club, Harlem's Paradise, and he now really feels like a kingpin. Does he know how to be a hero? The last piece of voiceover in the season comes from his father and something he said to him, something very poignant, read by Reg E. Cathey, who sadly passed away in February. That was some poignant shit at the end of the season, the last single moment where Luke looks directly at the camera. And I thought that was very interesting. As someone who enjoys all these Marvel shows, I felt extremely disappointed. I tried my hardest to like this season, and it certainly has highlights. I really enjoy Mustafa Shakir as Bushmaster. He was friggin' awesome. In fact, I liked him so much and his motivation in wanting to try and kill Mariah Dillard that I was constantly rooting for the villain. So in that sense, I guess this show did something right. And it has a lot of good ideas. It just has a very sloppy and plotting execution. It felt boring for most of the episodes. Nothing seemed to happen for most of the episodes. When things did happen, they happened just like that and they were over with. Events came and went in a flash and you could not savor any of these great moments for any of these good characters except for Mariah Dillard. Whatever investment I felt in the season, I felt it because I really enjoyed the first season. I already know these characters. I already know this world. I already know most, at least, of their struggles. And so whatever I felt for what was going on now with Bushmaster and Mariah Dillard and Luke Cage and their evolution and their relationships, I felt it because I knew most of these characters. There was nothing new generated in this single season that made me invest. And I think this season and every movie that is a sequel to something should live up to its name and should progress its world and its characters and the investment of an audience. Unfortunately to me, this is the weakest of the Marvel Netflix series. I enjoyed this even less than Iron Fist. And I barely liked Iron Fist, even though I still liked it. Luke Cage Season 2 was a stumble on the road. I still have hope because I've liked most of these shows and I want to see Luke Cage come back into the spotlight and shine as bright as it can. For this season, however, I do have to say that whether you watch it or not, your heart will go on. Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. Let me know in the comments, have you seen the second season of Luke Cage? Do you like it as much as the first one? Do you like it even less? Do you like it more? Let me know in the comments below what were your highlights and what were your lowlights of this season. Thank you so much for watching, you guys are the best. This week I still have my review for the first Sicario and Sicario 2 coming on Wednesday. Thank you so much, and we've hit 1,600 subscribers. We are officially on the road to 2K, so share the videos around and the channel, and thank you so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and so until the next review, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so you can be geeky united!